Emergency alert. Please be advised, this is not a drill. As of 12:34 a.m. EST, there has been a nationwide security breach. All citizens must stay in their homes, avoid all windows, and keep all entrances securely locked. Do not, under any circumstances, answer your door. If you hear the voices of known individuals, disregard them. They are not what they seem. Stay tuned for further updates. I stared at the notification on my phone. Nationwide security breach? Was this some kind of prank? But emergency alerts weren't exactly known for their humor. I switched on the TV just in time for the emergency broadcast to fill the screen. The same warning echoed from the speakers, the announcer's voice straining with restrained panic. I'm not much for freaking out. You could say I have a cool head. But damn, this was eerie. I went to lock the doors, drew the blinds, and gathered some essential supplies to hunker down in my windowless home office. Just as I was setting up camp, I heard a knock at the door, and my phone buzzed with another message. Emergency alert. This is a follow-up advisory. The nationwide security breach involves unidentified entities impersonating familiar individuals. Do not interact with these entities. They have shown aggressive and potentially deadly behavior. Keep your phones charged, stay away from windows, and stay in your rooms. I heard another knock at the door. Amazon, the voice spoke. I got up from the couch, only to realize the parallel of the situation. The nation is on lockdown, you know. I'm not supposed to open my door. There was a moment of silence. He completely ignored my statement. You need to sign off this package. I told him to leave it on the porch. You need to sign off this package. Something, my gut feeling, told me that this wasn't right. I did have a package I was waiting on, but the way the man spoke, the way he ignored my remarks about the lockdown. I was curious to take a look at this man, so I peered my eye through the peephole. I almost jumped back at the look of him. He was unbelievably close to the eye hole, and his expression was blank but soulless. They had covered the entire field of view from the outside. At that point, I didn't think, but I knew something wasn't right. I no longer answered the remarks of that person, that thing, whatever it was. I barricaded the door with the closest furniture I could find. The valet table. I pushed it towards the door, hearing the jangling and fall of the keys that we kept on it. The knocking was getting more repetitive and louder. It was occasionally interrupted by the same, monotone voice. You need to sign off this package. There was no anger in the voice, but the volume of the voice increased the more he said it. It got louder, 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 until it stopped. I jolted from my position from around the corner, but slowly approached the peephole. In just a matter of seconds, they were gone. Out of thin air. I didn't see anybody walking off the porch, or on the sidewalk. This was turning into some Twilight Zone episode. I couldn't help but wonder, was this happening everywhere? I shot a message to a buddy of mine in London. To my surprise, he responded almost immediately, confirming he'd received a similar warning. Just then, I heard a soft tap on the front door. Hey, it's me, Jake, called a voice that I recognized as my neighbor's. The dude I usually borrow a beer with on weekends. But the alert's warning was clear. Sorry, Jake, I said loudly enough to be heard. I can't open the door. Soon, more voices came. Voices of friends, family, ex-girlfriends I hadn't spoken to in years. Each voice was perfectly mimicked, their pleads becoming increasingly desperate. I tried to look through the peephole, but I saw nothing. It was darkness. Amid the growing chaos outside, my phone buzzed again. Emergency alert. Unidentified entities are not contained. Do not, under any circumstances, leave your secure location. Any attempt to use transportation or communication devices besides the emergency alert system may attract their attention. The situation is currently being handled. Stay inside. Stay safe. Well, there goes my plan to call Mom. Sitting alone in my makeshift fortress, I could only wait. The phantom voices continued for hours, then days. The occasional scream in the distance made my blood run cold. Anarchy outside my door, and all I could do was sit tight. The days blurred into weeks. Every so often, a new alert would ping, each one grimmer than the last. The entities were everywhere, impersonating everyone. I began to feel like the last man on Earth. My only tether to reality, the relentless emergency alerts. Finally, after weeks of this madness, a new alert chimed. Emergency alert. The nationwide security breach has been contained. It is safe to leave your home. Please report any unusual activities to your local authorities. Do not approach any individual displaying unusual behavior. We are stronger together. As the alert ended, a profound silence filled my house. The voices were gone, replaced by an unsettling quiet. I cautiously unlocked the door and stepped outside. My neighborhood was unrecognizable. Houses were abandoned. Some were just empty plots. That is until I saw what was seemingly the first sign of life that I had seen in a very long time. A familiar car approached my house. It parked in the driveway, and in a panic, I shut the door, locking it, my knuckles clenching white. Until I realized where that car was from. It was my wife. Honey, it's me. I was so caught up with my hostile interactions at the door, that I must have forgotten about her. How could I do that? How did my brain amidst adrenaline forget about the love of my life? I looked through the peephole. There she was, beautiful as ever. Her brown hair, those welcoming hazel eyes. She had a relieved, but exhausted expression as she gently knocked on the door. She was just as I had remembered her. But I remained calm. Honey, where have you been? I had to stay at a nearby friend's house. I was out getting groceries. Remember? As foolish as I felt, I remembered that. She was right. I was too scared to open the door though. Even though the announcement said it was all over, I felt that the announcement was sent out under the influence of a third party. The same third party that was behind this madness. Honey, please, I promise you it's all over. Besides, it's getting cold. I had a gut feeling this wasn't right. But it was my wife. My beloved, beautiful wife. I'd spent the last 8 years with her, and this is how I'm supposed to treat her? Have I become delirious after spending these countless days on house arrest? The cold breeze from the outside covered my face, but that was all I was greeted by. Nobody was there. My wife, the one I haven't seen in months, was gone. I stepped outside just a few steps to look for her, but there was no sign. No car in the driveway, no foot imprints on the lawn. She was gone. As the cool breeze continued to blow, chilling my face, I turned back to go inside. But before I could reach the handle, the door abruptly swung shut. The unmistakable sound of the lock clicking into place echoed through the eerie silence. Confusion washed over me, followed by a rising sense of panic. My home, my only sanctuary, was now locked, with me on the outside. I pounded on the door, my fists making dull thuds against the heavy oak. And then, a shadow fell across the peephole from the other side. I took a step back, my heart hammering in my chest. Slowly, the door creaked open just a crack, and I saw her. My wife, or at least something that looked like her. But her face. Her face was blank, a smooth expanse of skin without features. I felt the world spin around me as I stumbled backwards. My phone buzzed in my pocket, its vibration jolting me back into reality. We both looked down at our phones. Emergency alert. Disregard the previous message. The entities have further infiltrated the emergency alert system. Trust no one. Especially those you know. I looked up from my phone, my breath hitching in my throat. The door was now fully open, and the faceless version of my wife was standing there, her phone in her hand. She was looking at it, the glow from the screen casting an eerie light on her blank face. I felt a deep sense of dread coursing through me. She then raised her faceless head, slowly shutting the door.